This is the craziest head-mounted display that I've tried to date. This is the GOOVIS Art. And we're gonna take a close look at it today, specifically the Art Cinema package. So it has a couple of extras. Let's get into it. Welcome back to The Construct. So when I first saw the GOOVIS Art, I was really shocked at how different this headset looked and how lightweight it was. I mean, I'm so used to having an entire VR headset on my head. As soon as I saw this, I knew it would be a little bit more interesting. So let's get the obvious thing out of the way. What does this thing look like when you put this on your eyes? Well, one thing that's kind of neat is that this bar here that holds this in front of your eyes kind of disappears in the same way that your nose disappears when you look through both eyes. You don't really see your nose right now. So the crazy thing about these is that you really get kind of this wild depth effect inside the lens. And it took me a second to appreciate that, but once you're looking inside of here, you can see the screen is kind of far away. At first, it made me feel like, what's the difference of holding my phone up in front of my face like this versus using something like this? But once you get this on and working, it is like having a 100-inch screen about 10 or 12 feet away from you. It's pretty cool. And I have to say, it looks better than the time I went to the theater recently. The screen looked better here than it did in a actual real life theater. But let's face it, that's probably because of the stats. Now, this is only 1920 by 1080, so 1080p, but it's 4,496 pixels per inch, so it's really, really dense. Couple that with the angular resolution of 55 pixels per degree, and it is razor sharp. The displays on the inside are Micro-OLED, so you get these really sharp, really bright colors, really high contrast. It really looks good. And because there are two displays, one cool thing is that this supports side-by-side 3D. So there's a little button here where you can switch between side-by-side 3D or just one screen, just in a click of a button. So if you're porting any 3D content through here that is side-by-side, you just hit the button and it's instantly 3D. Pretty cool. As far as the outside is concerned, there are a lot of things going on here. There's a brightness button on one side, so you can crank this thing up really bright. It almost gets too bright at the max setting. And of course, there's a volume button here on the side. And that volume button is more so for the built-in speakers. Let me see if I can show you that. There's some built-in speakers right there that you can see. And those get pretty loud, actually. You will suffer the disadvantage of having the people around you hear what you're watching. So I highly recommend just throwing in, your AirPods or earbuds or something. And if you don't want to use earbuds, if you want to go fully wired, there's an earphone attachment here, a 3.5mm jack. You can plug in your big boys and just have that on. I feel like that might be a little bit too much stuff connected to your head. I mean, this is already super lightweight, but once you have this on and then headphones on top of that, I mean, at that point, you probably might as well put on a VR headset. So what's this for? Like, why would you want this and not a VR headset? Well, it's funny. People have asked me about plugging in the HDMI to their Quest and things like that. And recently I did take my Quest on a flight and it's just a lot going on. The GOOVIS provides somewhat of a simpler solution where you just plug in a source and boom, you have a screen in front of your face. So this is more of a head-mounted display, a display that can be portable anywhere you go. I didn't realize what this was at first, but there is a USB-C port right here under this little enclosure. I can take that off. And you can see there's USB-C right here on the top. And that will allow you to use pass-through. So if you have your phone connected to the GOOVIS Art and you want to use something like a Bluetooth dongle that needs to pass through that cable, like a mouse or keyboard or something like that, you can use this port on the top. There is a proximity sensor on the front, which is really nice. So it turns off when you move this away from your face. So the adjustability for myopia or vision issues goes from like 0 to -3 or 0 to +3. So depending on your prescription, you might not actually have to wear your glasses when you wear this. You can just adjust here on the side and get the blur to go away. Now, I need to tell you about the strap. So the strap here, you can see is all like leather or plastic, and there's no structure on the back. This is pretty cool because when you're using this, I have to say this is the one head-mounted display that truly feels comfortable when you lay down on the back of it. It actually does not poke into your head or anything when you're laying down. So that's always nice. And another benefit to this over a VR headset is just the ability that I can look around the monitor. Even right now, I can look up at the camera and see the camera, and I can look down at the screen whenever I want to, but peek over it or under it. I don't feel like I'm locked into anything. And this kind of adds to the GOOVIS Art's application to just using it around the house. Like if you want to have your phone in your pocket plugged into this, watching a movie while you're sweeping the floor. I don't know who does that, but if you wanted to, it would be possible with this. The IPD adjustment is mechanical. There's no eye tracking or anything like that, but there's a little lock button up here on the top where you can lock that IPD adjustment. So when it's unlocked, you do get to move that IPD adjustment in and out like this, and then lock it down with that button so it doesn't shift while you're moving around or anything like that. GOOVIS was good enough to send over their Art Cinema package. So the Art Cinema package comes with a few extras. If you go with the Art Cinema package, you get the HDMI to Type-C adapter. So all that is just an adapter here where you have a short HDMI to HDMI. And then on this side, you have a Type-C, turn that around, Type-C, and you have a direct pass-through power, as well as this kind of portable media player. This gives you a media player option that frees you from having to use your phone as that media source, and it comes with a nice little remote. So you can get that feeling of just watching traditional TV. So you just have this brick that you can plug in, and you have a charging side here and a HDMI out here. The Net TV dongle is pretty neat because there's two pieces to it. There is a media center here, but also a battery pack. So this can be charged via USB-C, and it supplies power to that media center. So you have a whole entertainment unit right here, and it's about the size, even smaller than a phone. So I don't need to tell you what streaming services look like, but you get an idea of what you see there. And needless to say, you can use your phone just plugging in the included USB-C cable and just navigate your phone and see it mirrored here on the display as well. And I was pleased to see that they did not skip the free polishing cloth. I know it's a small touch, but I love it when people put a polishing cloth in their packaging. Well done. If you're looking for something to be a little bit more flexible as far as fit, GOOVIS has this zero pressure headband attachment here. The fabric band, while very comfortable while laying down, might be a little bit tight, and it takes a lot more to adjust. So this puts you kind of in the space of what you're used to as far as VR headsets. It has a click wheel on the back and very familiar head pads right here that kind of cup the back of your head for comfort. So let me show you what it looks like to put this on. So you can see here on the fabric strap, there's these Velcro connections. And once you put those on, they're pretty much stuck. So there's not a lot of flexibility here. The zero pressure head strap attachment here gives you a little bit more flexibility and just loops in right here on the loops that the fabric strap came off of. And clearly this adds quite a bit of bulk, but if you have a big head like me and the fabric strap is just way too tight, this is much more comfortable. One additional use case for this thing for me was the HDMI is straight through. It's just a monitor in here. There's no software. So if you're looking to have a head-mounted display for like work or something, you may not want to risk the security of protected information. So this is just a display, and there's no software here to get in the way or make it risky to plugging this into your work laptop. And I don't know about you, but I don't like sitting at my desk too long. So when I'm in the office, I might throw this on and use it as my second monitor. The Cinema package with the Media Center dongle and the HDMI adapter will go for about $679 right now on the GOOVIS website, which is a little pricey, but this is a perfect solution for somebody who just does not want to get into a VR headset or have to deal with any setups or accounts or anything, but wants to really enjoy a giant head-mounted display. If you just want the basic set, the price is $549. There are some links in the description. So in the end, I like this thing. I like it a lot, and I use it a lot. I've been catching up on the Halo series on Netflix after it moved off of Paramount. I'm late, I know, I'm sorry, but I've been able to catch up on it, still keep an eye on my kids and move around the house. It's been extremely convenient. Big thanks to GOOVIS for sending this over. If this is something you want to check out those links in the description, and we'll see you here next time in the Construct. Peace.